Picture this. It's late at night, the kind of night where everything feels heavier than usual. Your room is silent, but your mind isn't. You're staring at your phone, not because you expect it to light up, but because a part of you still hopes it will. Just one message, just one sign that she still remembers you the way you remember her. Because there was a time when your phone never stayed silent. There was a time when she couldn't go hours without hearing your voice. When your presence wasn't just wanted, it was needed. You remember those moments clearly. The way she looked at you when no one else was watching. The way her eyes softened, like you were the only place she felt safe. She trusted you with parts of herself she never showed the world. And you didn't take that lightly. You protected it. You protected her. Because when a man truly loves a woman, he doesn't just give her his attention, he gives her his emotional loyalty. He gives her the version of himself he doesn't give anyone else. The version that stays patient, the version that stays calm, the version that stays even when it hurts. But slowly something changed. Not in one dramatic moment, not in one obvious betrayal, but in small, almost invisible ways. Her replies became shorter, her voice became colder. The warmth you once felt so effortlessly now felt forced. And you noticed it. Of course you did, because a man always feels the emotional shift before he fully understands it. He feels it in the silence between conversations. He feels it in the absence of effort. He feels it in the way she stops seeing him the same way she used to. And that's when confusion begins to grow inside you. Because nothing hurts more than watching someone slowly lose feelings for you while you're still holding on to yours. You start replaying every moment in your mind, wondering where it went wrong, wondering what you could have done differently, wondering how someone who once made you feel irreplaceable can now make you feel invisible. You see, my friend, the human heart doesn't break all at once. It breaks quietly, gradually, in moments where you realize you care more than the other person does, in moments where you feel yourself fighting for someone who has already stopped fighting for you. And the hardest part isn't losing her. The hardest part is losing the version of yourself that existed when she loved you, the version of you that believed in forever, the version of you that trusted completely. Because when a man gives his heart, he doesn't give it expecting it back. He gives it because he believes in what he feels. He believes in her. He believes she will protect it the same way he protects hers. But when that belief is broken, it changes him. It makes him quieter. It makes him more careful. It makes him realize that love, no matter how real it feels, is never guaranteed. And one day, without announcing it, something inside you shifts. You stop waiting for her messages. You stop hoping she'll come back. You stop needing her presence to feel complete. Not because you stopped loving her, but because you finally started loving yourself enough to let go of what was slowly destroying you. You realize that your value was never dependent on her ability to see it. Your worth didn't disappear just because her feelings did. And that's the moment everything changes. Because the man who learns to walk away from what hurts him becomes someone different, someone stronger, someone who no longer fears being alone, someone who understands that his peace is more important than holding on to someone who no longer holds on to him. Final pause, and maybe one day, she'll remember you. Maybe one day, she'll realize what you truly were. But by then, you won't be the same man she left behind. You're sitting in a room that still holds her presence. The air hasn't changed, the walls haven't moved, but something feels different. It feels colder, quieter, like the life that once existed between you has slowly evaporated. There was a time when she looked at you like you were her emotional home. Her eyes softened when you spoke. Her voice carried warmth when she said your name. You weren't just someone she loved, you were someone she depended on. And you believed, deeply and honestly, that what you had was permanent. But permanence is an illusion the heart creates when it feels safe. Because safety makes you lower your guard. It makes you invest fully. And without realizing it, you gave her the most dangerous thing a human being can offer another person: emotional certainty. She never saw the cost of your loyalty while you were paying it. She never felt the weight of your presence while it was holding her together. because the human mind is programmed to normalize what stays. Your effort became her expectation. Your love became her baseline. And slowly, without either of you noticing the exact moment I happened, she stopped seeing you as something she could lose and started seeing you as something she could keep. And the tragedy of human nature is this, my friend. People protect what they fear losing, not what they believe will always remain. Her brain wasn't cruel. It was efficient. It conserved emotional urgency for uncertainty. And you were no longer uncertain. You were stable, predictable, always there. But then something changed inside you. Not suddenly, but gradually. The pain accumulated quietly, the unanswered messages, the emotional distance, the subtle shift in her voice when she spoke to you. Your nervous system noticed before your mind accepted it. You felt yourself becoming invisible in a world where you once felt essential. And one day, without drama, without revenge, without anger, you stopped. You stopped chasing her attention. You stopped offering your emotional energy without return. You stopped abandoning yourself just to remain in her life. And in that moment, you did the one thing her brain was never prepared for. You walked away. At first, she didn't react, because the brain assumes patterns will continue. It assumes the person who always stayed will stay again. But when your absence became real, when your silence stretched beyond what felt temporary, her emotional system entered unfamiliar territory. The dopamine her brain once received from your presence disappeared. The emotional regulation you provided vanished. And suddenly she was alone with memories she never had to question before. Memories of your voice, your patience, your quiet strength. And for the first time, she wasn't experiencing you in presence. She was experiencing you in loss. And loss, brother, activates parts of the human psyche that love never touches. She began to replay moments she once overlooked. She remembered the way you stayed calm when she pushed you away, the way your loyalty never demanded proof, the way your existence made her feel safe in ways she never acknowledged. And now, in your absence, your value expanded in her mind, not because you became more, but because you were no longer available to be less. Scarcity rewired her perception. Your emotional independence became louder than your emotional devotion ever was. And somewhere, in the quiet privacy of her thoughts, she felt something she never felt when you were standing in front of her. She felt the weight of losing you. Meanwhile, something inside you was changing too. The same silence. Meanwhile, something inside you was changing too. The same silence that haunted her was healing you. Because when a man walks away from what breaks him, he doesn't just lose the person, he finds himself. Your nervous system stopped depending on her validation. Your mind stopped waiting for her return. And your heart, slowly, painfully, began to detach from the illusion that she was your only emotional home. You realized that your value was never defined by her ability to see it. It existed independently, untouched, unrecognized, but never absent. And this is the cruel symmetry of emotional reality. When you needed her most, she felt secure enough to drift away. And when you finally learned to live without her, she felt the insecurity of your absence. Because the human heart doesn't measure value through presence. It measures value through the fear of permanent loss. She didn't fully see you when you stood beside her. She saw you when you became something she could no longer reach. And by then, you were no longer the same man who needed to be seen. Because the man who survives emotional abandonment doesn't just recover, he transforms. He stops offering his soul where it is not protected. He stops explaining his worth to those who only recognize it in hindsight. He becomes quieter, stronger, untouchable in ways he never intended but was forced to become. And when she finally looks at you again, when regret fills the space where certainty once lived, she will see the truth that was always there. Not the man who needed her love, but the man who was always complete without it. So if you're listening to this right now, my friend, and you're carrying the weight of someone who walked away from you, I want you to understand something. Your value was never defined by their ability to stay. Their departure did not make you weaker. Their absence did not make you less. It revealed a truth most men spend their entire lives avoiding, that your strength was never in who stayed beside you, but in who you became after they left. Because pain doesn't destroy a man, it reveals him. It forces him to see himself without illusion. without emotional dependence, without needing validation from someone who couldn't recognize his worth. And yes, there will be nights when the silence feels louder than anything, nights when memories return uninvited, nights when you question everything. But those nights are not your destruction, they are your transformation. One day, you will wake you, and her absence will no longer feel like loss. It will feel like freedom. You will realize that you survived something that once felt impossible to survive. And in that moment, you will understand that you were never abandoned. You were redirected. Redirected toward becoming a man who no longer needs to chase love, because he has built a life where love must come to him naturally. And when she finally remembers you, when she finally sees the man you became, it won't matter anymore, because you didn't heal to be chosen again. You healed to become someone who chooses himself. Stay silent, stay strong, and never forget. The man who walks away from what breaks him becomes someone nothing can break again.